Hello, welcome to Racecraft again. This car has been here before. It's been repainted since it was here last time, and it's come back for a repower. It did have a stock standard motor in it, which we've pulled out. That's just a bog stock 302, and now it's going to get this nice little 347 stroker with aluminium heads, roller cam, and so forth. Still going to be fuel injected and everything, but it'll certainly give this car a bit of a boost in power. We've got the new motor in, so it's got the aluminium heads on it and all that sort of thing. What I really wanted to do was to put these rocker covers on it. I reckon they're a pretty nice looking rocker cover, and they're tall, so they fit over the top of the roller rockers. We've got 1.7 roller rockers on it. So put them on. Unfortunately, when I went to put the plenum on, it wanted to hit the top of the rocker cover. So I bought a phenolic spacer, put that on, still not tall enough to clear the rocker covers. So I made an aluminium plate to space them up. So with the two of those on there, it was just tall enough to clear the covers. Trouble is, we couldn't close the bonnets. We tried the bonnet on, and the bonnet just sits right on top of the manifold. So we're back to factory rocker covers, which don't look too bad. I've had them powder coated black, and all I've had to do to get them to fit over it was actually the posi locks that was hitting, not the rockers themselves. So I machined, I think it was 8mm off each posi lock, which still left enough thread for the grub screw to be fully engaged. So a bit of a juggle here and there, but we've got it on. Shame about the rocker covers. I would really like to have seen those on there. The other thing that I'm going to do, because this is a 347 now, a bit deeper breathing, is change the 65mm throttle body. I think the butterfly is actually even smaller than that. I think the butterfly itself is only like 60mm, and we've gone to 75mm throttle body. So these are cheap enough to buy, supposed to suit a 5-litre Mustang, but when I went to put the throttle position sensor on, it didn't fit. The bolt holes are in a slightly different position. The little locating ring was too small, so I've had that in the milling machine and modified it. Anyway, she's ready to go on now, so that should really help it breathe. We're getting on with this 347 conversion. Well, it's not really a conversion, it's just swapping one motor for another. But we are going to alter a few things, and one of the things we're going to do is cold air induction. Previously, the air cleaner sat here in the engine bay on a 90-degree elbow, but that means it breathes hot air from under the bonnet. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move it down into this little nice neat little cavity that we have down here and make a box around it. So I've made up these parts here that are going to go in here and seal off that area. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're looking at this going, but this is just cardboard. Well, that's okay, because this is actually high tensile cardboard. Now, the only thing we've got to worry about is we've got to warn the owner of the car not to drive it in the rain, because he'll get the cardboard wet. Okay, so all jokes aside now, we have got it in metal, in aluminium. So this little panel will drop into this position here, sit there, it'll be bolted in, air cleaners down underneath that, breeze through the front behind the headlights, and we'll have cold air induction. Actually, driving along, probably even have a little bit of ram air, although I imagine that'll be negligible. The other thing that I'm going to do, already started doing, is the filler cap, radiator cap, used to be here. The problem that I found with this, after doing as many of these cars, this is actually the 9th car that I've done, could be the 10th. We did the car about 2 years ago, now it's back for more work. So I don't know whether that makes it the 10th or the 9th, so we'll call it Scorpion 9.5. But what I found is that when the filler cap, the radiator cap is there, the overflow has to go to the overflow bottle, which is on the other side of the car. And what I found was it just would not recover the water. So the recovery system didn't work. So what I did on my own car is I put a header tank in it and put it up higher than the radiator. And that's exactly what we're doing here. So made up this bracket, that's going to bolt to the tower, and then we've got a header tank that'll sit there, and a hose will go into the bottom of the radiator to fill it, and then a small hose to collect the air out of the radiator so the air can rise to the highest point. So all this will be black when it's all done, but that's the other changes we're doing to the cooling system. One of the other jobs that we've got to do on this Scorpion is to fix the wiper arm. When the panel beaters have pulled the car apart to paint it, they've stripped the thread on there. Probably not their fault. It is a 40-year-old thread and it's aluminium, so it's probably just corroded together. Can't get another one, not for a Scorpion. I've got a spare down there for a Sigma. It's different. So the plan here is to machine off that damaged thread and then make a sleeve, press a sleeve over the top with a good thread on it. So I've already started on that, and you can see here in the lathe I've got the beginnings of the sleeve. I haven't drilled it yet, and the nut that holds it on goes on there. It just goes on there really nicely. So I'll machine that bit down and finish making the sleeve, press it on. Hopefully that'll fix it. Right, so I've got the spindle machine down now. I've machined it down to 14.5mm. So the little sleeve that I'm going to press over the top, I'll just drill that to 14.5 as well. Loctite it on, and hopefully it's fixed. No, I'll get to that part and I'll show you how that turns out. I've got my little sleeve ready to go, and it's a nice, neat fit on there. And that's renewed our thread for us. So what I'll do now is I'll bond that on there with a bit of high strength 680 Loctite, and we can put it back in the car. It's a fiddly little fix and it's taken a fair bit of time to do, but what do? If you can't buy the part, you've just got to try and fix it best you can. This is the fan off the air conditioning condenser, so it goes right on the front of the car. And it's a pusher, pushes air in through the condenser and then eventually through the radiator. But it worries me that the motor is so small on it. So what I've done is I bought a 16-inch fan, robbed the motor out of it, as you can see, and bolted the motor into this little 12-inch fan, which is the right size to fit on the front of the car. So basically what we've gone is from 12 volts, 120 watts, which is the big motor. What was on it was this little motor with only 80 watts. So we've given it a 50% increase in power. Just had it on the battery just a moment ago, and this really pushes air very well now. It's pretty much a straight swap over. The bolt holes line up, the fan bolts straight on, but this is a way to improve your thermo fans if you're concerned about not having enough grunt out of them. Yes, you've got to buy 2 fans, pain in the ass, but that's how it is. But you can get a big 16-inch, rob the motor off it, put it on your little fan, and you've got yourself a high-performance fan. So the car's just about finished. The thermo fans are on with the big motors and everything. This one's mounted up here onto the front of the air conditioning condenser, and it works really, really well. The car doesn't overheat, although it hasn't really been that hot, but I'm sure it's not going to overheat at all. The fans are working really, really well. I've done the cold air induction. That's all in. It's painted black and so forth. So that's all done. The header tank and the overflow tanks all finished, all nice in black now. And the only plastic part left on it was for the windscreen washers, but it's now an aluminium black tank as well. The motor's mounted underneath, you don't even see it. It's all coming together pretty nicely now. The other thing that I've got to do, the thing that I'm not happy with, is this car's got 10-inch wheels on the back. And it's actually surprising that such a little car will swallow a 10-inch wide rim without being tubbed, without lipping the guards or anything else. But in this case, the offset of the wheel is wrong and the wheel's hanging out of the mudguard. So as you can see, this wheel hangs right out past the mudguard, which is not legal, and it's probably cop bait as well. If a cop sees that, or the transport department sees a wheel hanging right out of the mudguard, that's not going to be acceptable. So what I'm going to do is pull the diff out, because we're doing a ratio change on the diff anyway. It had 3.5 diff gears. I'm going to put 3.0 diff gears in it to give it a better balance between revs on the highway and acceleration and so forth. It's got enough power that 3.0 gears are really not going to hurt the acceleration, but I really want to pull those wheels in. So I'm going to pull the diff out, get the ratio change done, and at the same time shorten the diff by about 30 mil per side. I've cut the diff and narrowed it so that the rims are nicely under the guards. We've still got a little bit of clearance on the inside, but these 10s just make it inside the mudguard, which is fantastic. So this car's got two 5.5s on the back, but with the power that it's got and the lightness of the car, just doesn't have enough grip. If you get it on the throttle, just wants to light the tyres up. So these tyres are coming off, and these semi-slicks are going on. These are a very soft tyre and should make it grip up like crazy. So it should be able to just jump on the throttle and accelerate without a whole lot of wheel spin. Well, the car's all done. The diff is shortened, the tyres fit under, it's got the 347. There's really nothing else to do now except see what sort of burnout it can do.